sense of being understood and seen. Everyone, wherever you go, wants to be understood and seen, and it does not matter if it's in the relationship with the brand or if it's with the relationship with their friends or family. And to be honest, most of the retail and hospitality businesses that I encounter, they are not doing it very well. They are not focusing on the consumer. They are not showing them that they understand them, that they see them. Most of the time I can only see a bare minimum of politeness, and that's not even the case, especially in the luxury sector. And then the brands expect people to come back, but unless you show people that they are special to you, they will not fall in love with you. There is no one single most important area, to be honest. Everything is equally important in building that emotionally charged mental image in their heads. So really everything will slightly depend on the store and the consumer that you have. So look at each of your store, because each of the stores will be slightly different and each of the store will have a slightly different consumer base. Find out what is the most important for that particular consumer base in that particular store, and just put slightly more attention to designing that area which you find out is the most important to them, but without underplaying all the other areas, because they all have to be right and they all have to be consistent. It's certainly more important than it used to be a few years ago, and the strength will be always growing. However, I always believe that technology will never replace human interaction. We are fundamentally social animals, and we are wired to surround ourselves with other people. And retail stores deliver just that all the time, wherever we go. And I think that we will reach a certain point of threshold when the technology will be underplayed finally, and then the desire for the human contact and the human relationship will come back to us. And I can already see certain patterns in the consumer behavior that are showing me that the threshold is very close. I actually have been thinking about utilizing that type of technology for a while, but the biggest argument always was, wherever you go, is that the consumers will feel like you're invading their privacy. It will definitely help the retailers to decide which product lines are better, how to better merchandise them, how consumers really respond to your store design or to your employees' behavior. We need to bear in mind that really the way the consumers make decisions is completely subconscious, even if they like to think that it isn't, but there is. And those emotional micro-expressions that the camera can pick up and then we can interpret are really true indicators of what's really going on in people's minds when they interact with your brand. And if a retailer will have that kind of tool, they could truly understand what their customers want and how to best deliver it to them. So I do hope we will be able to utilize that technology, but more from the emotional recognition, the micro expressions and the bigger emotional expressions angle, but not from the facial recognition angle. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't think that should be happening, but if we're just talking about the emotions and keeping it literally just about the emotional reaction, but not trying to, for example, send them special promotions because we recognized their face from a previous visit, then yeah, I'm all about utilizing as much of the psychological, psychological knowledge that we have to be able to deliver to customers better service. It's a really actually great tool. It enables retailers to stay in touch and really have that conversation with their consumers. It helps them to sustain that first attraction that the consumer had. It helps them to learn more about what they really want and build the trust in your brand. So it will be only growing, in my opinion, but only if the brands will be using it correctly. What I mean by that is not just giving you promotions all the time or free gifts or whatever else, but having that two-way stream conversation and actually recognizing in your consumers a real human being, not someone that just, gives you money all the time. Really, the need for the human interaction is very strong in that technology-led world, and we can already see people requiring much more personal connection with the brands, and especially when they are shopping in a store or when they, let's say, go out for a dinner in a nice new restaurant. I believe that need will be only growing, and therefore the need for an experience in the store will be growing. So really what will happen with the stores or within the sort of hotels or restaurants is they will become more like a theater where the brands will have to entertain their customers all the time. And really the use of psychology in that is crucial, and without really understanding how we are operating and how to best trigger our emotions, we won't be able to, to deliver the best to our customers. And I can actually already see the growing demand for this knowledge from both retail, hospitality, but even music industry, for example. There's plenty of that demand. We want to know more. We want to know how people operate. So, I hope in 3 years' time there will be psychology everywhere. What I've noticed personally is that in-store people tend to be slightly more intimidated by the whole space and the hugeness of it and all of the stimuli that they have available. Whereas when they're online, they are truly the decision makers. There's no one that can tell them otherwise. And yes, you can still influence them via the design, via the content that you are giving them, but ultimately they feel they have much more control when they're online as compared to when they're in store.